Welcome to B2B with Randy and Craig, where we speak to local entrepreneurs and learn about their journey. Welcome to B2B, where we discuss the rise and the fall
and the kick in the...
We're not family show. We don't do that.
Every time.
Family friendly, man.
Family friendly. This guy's always trying to go off the rails. Hey, we're here with Mike Hughes.
You know what's better than a cup of coffee in the morning?
What's
a
that?
cup of knowledge, and that's what I'm about to spit.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. You know what? It sounds like you're looking for Craig Seat.
I might have to take his job.
If
you need a new host.
I'm done.
We're going to keep an eye on it. I love it.
We can
I'm
promo
Randy,
battle.
and this is Craig from Natsurat Production. And once again, we're here with Mike from Magic Restoration and Services.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
Pleasure.
I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk.
Well, get ready. So the first thing we got to ask,
Why restoration?
Well, that's an easy answer for me. I was born into restoration. My father had a subcontracting company from the time I was very little, so about 14 years old.
Okay.
Everybody else is making their $6.25 an hour or whatever it was back then, minimum wage.
Well, what's back then? That's the question.
Back then, so we're going back to the early 2000s. I wanna say.
So you know what minimum
2003,
wage was when I had my
2002?
first job?
What was that?
$3.25.
All right, so yeah, you're a little bit ahead of me. Not
A
too
year,
far.
a year
Not
or
too
two.
far.
A year or
right.
two.
$3.25 for $3.25. You can't even buy a pack of gum
I
anymore.
was $6.05 or $6 an hour.
Yeah, you were making big money.
Yeah, that's
so anyway,
huge.
so you're making. So everybody's making.
Everybody's making that, and my dad's offering me $100 a day cash. So
Awesome.
Easy choice on weekends and vacations. I'm gonna go try out this industry.
Was he a GC? You said
What he was a subcontractor. So he worked for all the big box companies as a sub. So he would provide the services. They'd give him 50% of the job just for doing the job. Very easy. Didn't have to deal with the carriers. Didn't have to deal with any of that.
And how old were
and pay? He didn't have to worry about that.
Didn't
He
have
was
to worry
getting
about chasing them down. He was getting paid when they got paid. So.
How old were you at the time?
I was 14 when I decided to try it out.
Wow.
So I
It's
was a
called
young buck.
labor.
Basically, yeah, slave labor. His guys were getting paid a lot more than me, and I was doing the same work.
Got it.
But I fell in love with the industry. I mean, at 14 years old, it was pretty cool. Some of the things you see you've never seen before.
Right.
And you're walking in, and every job's different. It's not like the same thing where you're going to a cash register and you're going to see the same people every time. You're going into a home when the homeowner is at their absolute worst.
Yes.
And you're trying to bring it back to their absolute best. So I found a joy and a
love that.
pleasure
It's really good.
in the comfort and being able to comfort them, even at 14 years old, making them laugh or a joke or about how school was, or being this little boy and they coming in and they're asking me questions and it's taking their mind off of the disaster that they have going on. So from that point,
so wait, I want to back up for a second.
Yeah.
So your dad's business was restoration?
It was restoration, yeah. So
it wasn't Magic.
No. He had a subcontracting company. He ended up closing, and I stayed in the industry. I went through the big box brands. After he closed, I ended up going to them.
Got it.
Started with, being a crew chief for them, then a project manager, and then learned how to just manage everything.
So think how awesome this is. You got a guy who grew up, his father had the business, taught you as a young age.
Taught me everything.
Your own words, passionate, loved it, loved the people, loved the transactional business. Your father closes the business or sells it. You go into the big box guys out there, learning more and more and more.
So what made me open my own was seeing how the big box guy is different than my perspective, and the fact that I fell in love with it and wanted to help the homeowners. I felt like the way they were doing it was literally just making everybody another number.
It was transactional.
Right. Yep. And it was the quickest turnaround, quick payment, quick money. How can we get in and get out? How can we make the most buck on this? So if somebody had a water damage in that corner of the home, we're going in and trying to figure out how we could take out the other area of their home instead of trying to figure out how we can get these people back in their home quickest. And
Makes sense.
Totally disagreed with that. I was with free advertising.
Sorry, we don't like talking about that.
Those green trucks you see on the road, don't use them. Don't use them.
Use the purple ones.
I was with that, right. Use the purple and yellow. I mean, we're cool as hell. How could you
LSU.
not see that and want to use it? I mean, it's purple and gold.
Why purple? And just real quick, are you a LSU guy or
no? I went with colors that draw you in. Honestly, it's different. It's unique. It stands out. And when you put fire and water on it, it really pops.
It really does.
So when you see those trucks driving, it draws your eyes in. The idea behind the Magic Man and Magic was childhood. As a child, you think magic, you think instant gratification and instant satisfaction.
Right.
So it brings you back to family and bond. My initial logo was actually a caricature of my two children combined. So
Gotcha.
I brought family into the whole business.
Love it.
And when we walk into your home, we're not just some brand coming in to make money off you. We're trying to help your family.
We're families too.
Right.
We're families
now,
too.
I got to ask, because you're bringing up the family, right? How do you juggle being an entrepreneur and being a family man?
It's the most difficult thing, but that's another reason why I went into business for myself. It's because now I have the ability to, if my kid has an event at school, I could say, hey guys, I'm going to be out for this time period. You know, at a regular job,
I'm not missing this.
At a regular job, you can't do that. Like, for example, I put my kids on the bus every morning and then go to the office after.
That's awesome.
I pick them up from school if my wife can't do it. You know, I make sure that I'm there for them at every event so that they have those memories growing up. Because to me, that's the most important thing.
Family,
100%.
that's why you do everything you do.
That's why I do it.
That's why you do what you do,
Exactly.
so that you can give your family better life and so forth. But you found that balance, it sounds like.
Right.
So for those people that don't know what restoration is, because let's face it, a lot of people see the trucks.
I had that problem growing up my whole life. When somebody said, what do you do? And I said, restoration. What does that mean?
So why don't you tell us what that means?
I will fill you in. So,
well, maybe Craig should tell us.
Yeah, what do you know about
don't ask him.
You don't
He's
want. I'm going to destroy
No, you don't want him to tell you. He'll start talking about a video.
I mean, I could roll it in promo form, or we can roll it normally, however you guys want. But no, when you have disaster in your home, it's things that you don't want to deal with, right? It's water, fire, mold, soot. Maybe you got animals that broke into your home. You had an exterminator come. But now you got the feces everywhere, right? That's stuff that you don't want to touch. It can make you sick. It can make you ill. It can make your whole family ill. You go into a mold pit in your basement. A lot of people don't know about the effects of that. They hire Joe Schmo off the street. Now you got your whole home contaminated. So that's why there's experts in this field. Yes, there's not the classes that a plumber or anything else like that has, which it should be, because it really is a specialty trade. It's a
But
niche.
you have certifications, I would think.
We do, yes. We have.
Did you have to go to a college for this, or
No, it's no college. It's a field that you can enter really at any time, but you do need the specialty training, and that's why the prices are what they are, because it's not just someone coming in to do demo, right? So if there's let's go mold, for example. You have mold in your home. We're not just going to come in and rip the wall down. We're going to contain the area first with a 6 mil plastic. Make sure everything's well protected. Make sure your home and your family are protected, and then do the proper demo and the procedures to make sure that the mold is remediated.
And you're explaining to the customer what you're going to do.
Step by step.
And I'm going to guess that's, in many cases, the big box to use your, are not.
No.
They're coming in, they're making an assessment, and that's the end of that.
The beautiful thing about using a family-owned and operated company is when you call, you're not just getting a voice or a secretary or something like that. You're getting me. You're getting the owner, or at least somebody that was trained directly by me.
And is your family involved in your business?
So my kids, they come to the office all the time.
We know you've been taught by your father early labor. You're bringing these kids in.
Of course. They're on from 5 years old. You know, they're cleaning my trucks when they're off of school. They do.
Well, you're teaching them how to be entrepreneurs.
Everything. Yes, I'm showing them the nature of the business. And the funny thing is, like, my kids have, when they go to school, the first thing that they do is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And 9 times out of 10, it's Magic Home Restoration.
I love it.
Nice.
Which is beautiful to hear, and it makes the teachers laugh. On Purple Day, my youngest, my middle child now, he wore the Purple Magic Home shirt in. So it creates that family bond and that family environment. And
so what gives you as an entrepreneur the biggest sense of accomplishment being in the trade you're in?
I think it's just the fact that we're building something different. I mean, restoration is a saturated market.
Very.
And there are a lot of companies out there. There's companies that have been in this for 7 to 10 years that are independents as well. But ours is just different.
What's your 3 points? If I had to ask you 3 points of differential, we know family business.
Family, pricing. We're always going to beat the competitor prices. We're always going to come in there and help you out. And strategy. We're always coming in and we're telling you.
I was going to say
start
honesty.
To and honesty.
Yeah.
Open honesty, yes.
I find you guys to be very truthful. Very.
Yep. I mean,
very.
we're going to tell you.
Right, you used them? You had an issue at your house?
I know the kind of person that he is.
He's dealt with me a time or two. And I mean, he's actually come to a job site and seen how we work.
What, he was videotaped for you and stuff?
When Plethora was around, we were one of
that's a whole other thing. Don't bring up the tears.
We're gonna lose him.
So I have to ask, because everyone knows me to be the undisputed cinematography champion of the world, and that's my gimmick. And that's the shtick.
Look at that title belt.
That's
shining.
right. It's the real deal, right?
Spinner too.
That's right.
Bringing it back.
So makes coffee.
Old school John Cena.
He can't see me though.
Yeah, no.
Does Magic Home Restoration have a slogan, a motto that you guys go by?
Of course we do. When disaster strikes, all you need is magic.
Perfect. So we're coming into the winter.
Yes.
So this weather system is so wacky.
It is.
So you're going to have things like, you're going to have a snowstorm on a Monday. The next day, you're going to have temperatures in the 50s. You're going to have a quick melt. dangerous for basements.
Yes.
Water problems, foundations are not built to handle this. So I'm sure now comes the time that you start.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, restoration with winter is huge because we get the cold snaps, we get pipe breaks. The beautiful thing about us is we're trying to be a Magic Property Solutions now. So we've branched out a bit. We do also basement waterproofing. I know you're familiar with it, with the egress windows. So we do all that. We have a branch that does the French drains, the systems like that.
So you do full water protection, water management, waterproofing.
So after these floods that happen during the rains, these people pay out exorbitant amounts of money because they're not covered by insurance for rain damage.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that more than once.
No, you don't even really want to do it once.
You don't. So the thing is, be prepared for that, because Long Island's changing. Our weather system has significantly changed. I mean, these rainstorms now, they used to be a once every 3 year type thing.
Right.
Now it's like, once or twice a year we're getting these massive rainstorms.
Craziness. And we had a guest on a couple of months ago, and I said to him, it's like living in Florida without the tax breaks.
Yep.
And the ground, the soil, like you said, it can't handle it.
Yep, no.
New York is not built for this.
It's not.
And I think to touch back on a point of the kind of person you are and whatnot, like you don't always have a perfect job. Mistakes do happen, right? And Randy always says, "Judge me not by my mistakes, but how I fix them."
Well, that's the thing, right?
I say that to my wife too, by the way. Just so you know, you can use that.
I can use that there too.
It works.
What would be one mistake that you had to make in order to make it?
We've done it all in this industry. We've cut pipes as we're cutting, but you bring the plumber in, you fix it. Recently, we do move jobs where, unfortunately, you can't prevent, no matter how much you protect the content, something might happen. Or you might misplace a content. So,
But let's talk about the success stories.
Customer.
The success stories.
Yeah.
The bottom line is someone has water damage. Your team is coming in there, resolving the issue. And then you've added an extra service where you're saying, hey, look, now we can protect.
Yes.
Because what these homeowners deal with is they have a disaster, whatever that is. I'm using water because that's what we were talking about.
Right.
Guy like Magic comes in, does his magic. Then,
no pun intended.
No pun intended. Then they're calling a waterproofing company, and you don't
have to call a waterproofing company now because I'm bringing in my partner to get
behind it.
To come in right behind me. We're referring them. You don't have to go. There's no pressure. That's the thing about us too. We don't pressure you.
Right.
From the start, I always tell you, you're free to get other estimates. There's no pressure here. Yes, someone might come in lower, but the thing about lower is it's not always better.
Correct. That's true. So why don't you tell how to find us and everything?
Well, if you're just tuning in, we'd like to remind everyone that's listening that we're talking to the man, the myth, the legend, Mike
the one
Hughes.
And only. They call me Magic Mike nowadays.
They do.
I will not put those
that's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different.
I won't put those extra services in for you, though, ladies. I am a married man.
Don't tell them about your weekend jobs.
I'm a married man.
So you can find us always on B2B with Randy and Craig on Instagram, Facebook, and all social media platforms. And
on Spotify.
Where you can find
your guys.
That's
right.
right.
We're not fooling around.
Now,
I told you when you said that.
I gotta ask, Mike, because you are a very positive person.
Yes, sir.
I always see you smiling.
I try not to frown, even though in times are down. See that?
I like it too. He's a poet, and he didn't even try to make a rhyme.
Right.
Was there ever a point where you thought you were gonna turn it in?
He's an entrepreneur. Of course.
Every other day. It gets real tough, because it's not so much about you anymore. Now you're feeding other families, like my employees matter more to me than I do at this point.
Right.
So it's the constant stress of finding their work for them and making sure the bills are paid. And then you got to figure out which bills you want to pay.
Right.
Waiting for it's very difficult in restoration because a lot of times we're waiting for that check to come in.
Right.
It's there, but it's off in the distance.
There's a lot of times it's float.
It's exactly, or it's the insurance carrier waiting to pay you, or
So how does somebody, a homeowner, an insurance adjuster, how do they find you?
So I'm very relative. I'm on Google. You can
give us your website.
Magic Home Restoration, MagicHomeRestoration.com, MagicRestoration.com, MagicPropertySolutions.com.
Phone number.
You can call my cell or my office number. My direct cell, if you need to contact me, and I will text you, call you, whatever you want, 24/7, 631-428-0674, or our office where there's always somebody on staff 8 to 5. is 631-832-7026.
So, but an emergency may not happen 8 to 5.
No.
So what happens if an emergency
They can
happens?
call my cell phone number, or if they call that office number, it goes directly to my cell phone after hours.
And you guys are 24 hours. You
We're
have to be 7 days a
24/7.
week.
Yep.
7 days a week. So that's dedicated. It's a very
emergency
challenging.
service base. It is very difficult to say to someone, "Hey, you're on call this week, and don't go out partying." You know what I mean? It's you have to make that choice to want to help these people.
Yeah.
You know, and we do. We 100% are there within the hour.
And what's your areas of service? Do you
all
service
of
all
Long
Long Island?
Island.
So from Queens to Montauk?
From Queens to Montauk.
Got it.
We're even branching into Brooklyn a little bit, trying to stay away from the North Shore. But
So how many years officially have you been doing restoration?
Well, you said since he's 14.
21 years now.
20 so
22, going on
officially-
22.
So I'm assuming that the industry has changed when it comes to
Significantly.
technology.
Yeah, when I got in, the IICRC wasn't even a thing, which is the certification programs. We basically made the rules that are in those books, how
Gotcha.
to drive properly, how to do everything properly. You know, I mean, my dad could be a certified teacher from how much knowledge he has in it.
Does your dad help you?
He does. Every so often, I'll go to him for advice
you have to.
because
I mean, the guy
he
is a
ran a
lifer.
business for many years and you know did very well. So he has significant. His name's actually Mike Hughes too, so it's very convenient.
Yeah,
you know,
the Hughes brothers.
sometimes they'll look me up and they'll find him.
Well, fathers. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. But so that's awesome. So you have this direct line of somebody who has an incredible
been there
amount of
and done it,
experience,
yeah.
and he's not talking to you as a guy who sold a company. He's his son.
Right.
He wants to help you.
Give
be
me
a
that
success-
guidance, and
I love it.
You know, with the ways to save your money, and when you get that big job, and what do you do? Don't spend it all right away. You know,
Of course.
just fatherly advice, but also business advice because he's been there and ran a successful
So
business
that's
for many
great.
years.
As an entrepreneur with many years under your belt, building a great brand, a reliable company, great people around you. I know from talking to you prior to coming
that.
online
Thank you.
how
Thank you.
much your people matter to you, and you just said it just now.
Yeah.
What advice would you give somebody right now who's saying, I'm in this job and I really want to start my own company, whatever it is. I want to be a dog walker. I want to be a restoration company. It doesn't matter.
The first and foremost, you have to have passion for it. I mean, passion is huge. Like, don't ever lose your passion for anything. Like, I always had passion to be an entertainer. Didn't work out for me. I mean, it still can down the line, but didn't yet. So what did I do? I spun that into business, you know, where now I get to talk to people every day. I get to communicate. I get to entertain still in front of the person
You're a
that I'm
people
with.
person.
Right.
That's right. And that is what I want to do. So first and foremost, have a passion for what you want to do. If you're passionate about it and you've been in that industry and you know it hands and out, or even if you don't, and it's something that you've researched and you want to do, make sure you put your best foot forward with it because there's going to be challenging times and there's going to be those times where the money's just not there.
Yeah.
And you need to know that this is what you want to do because with a typical 9 to 5, you have that check every week and you know what you're making and you can set your budget. With an entrepreneur, you don't know when that money's coming. And
Well,
Every phone call is like, "Ooh, who's that?"
Well, the truth of the matter is, it takes a certain caliber person to be an entrepreneur.
deal with it, right.
Because there could be times that not you.
Yeah,
The
and
entrepreneur needs to
anybody.
get into the HELOC loan to make payroll.
Right.
That's not something somebody can
Prepare for.
every day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. You need to be a certain caliber person.
To understand the fact that yes, there's going to be downtimes that you got to get through and figure out how to pay your guys because they're what makes the
They're
world
everything.
go round.
They get paid. That's
Right.
the most
No
important
matter
thing.
what, you could not have a pot to piss in. Excuse my French there.
Yeah.
And your guys are paid, and that's what matters.
And that's what
So
matters.
go back to your very first day at Magic Home Restoration and give yourself one sentence of advice to get to where you are right now.
Don't give up and keep pushing.
I love it. You don't give up is very important. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
There's times for me, for you as an entrepreneur, you wake up and you just beat up.
You're defeated.
Who knows what happened?
But you can't. That's the thing is you can't let yourself be defeated. You have to channel your brain to figure out the next way to network, the next way to grow, the next way to get that business in that somebody else is out there getting.
You got to hustle.
You got to hustle, and you got to figure out a way to take it away from them. Not everybody gets to eat. You know, there's
Right.
plenty of business out there for all of us.
Right.
Long Island is overpopulated and saturated.
Absolutely.
There's plenty of business for everybody in every industry. The key matter is don't give up, keep pushing, and build those networks and communicate and talk to
Networks.
everybody.
So before we wrap up, because we're getting close to the end of the show, something really important, I think, as we talk about the direction of your company,
Right.
direction you go. What's next? What's next? So you've taken this company, restoration, you've added capabilities to what's next?
Ideally, I want a franchise down the road.
Right.
I'd like to get our mentality and our brand in other states. I want people to have I want it to be independently owned and operated, and I want it to be a family brand where that family now has a portion of Magic and our representation, and it's a similar style, similar bit where I get to talk to that owner and communicate with them
and
bring that brand that way. The values go to other people because I love what I do, and I want other people to be able to experience that and have it the right way.
And see that family say thank you when you walk out. Thank you. We can use our house.
You know, I mean, if you look at our reviews, it's not as many as the big box brands, but all of them are real people, real positive.
Not just one sentence things.
Right.
You get like paragraphs.
They're talking about how our guys guided them through the whole process, how we were there, and we're like family to them at the end of the day.
What would you say the biggest misconception about your profession is?
That we're construction, that we don't, that we could just go, advertise or go door to door. It's really not that type of, you know what I mean? It's an emergency based company. And that's the thing, like, typical, your normal ads really don't help us or appeal because nobody's going to go to the paper when they have a water damage.
Right. They're going to what they know. So I'm going to tell you, if you're listening to us, emergencies happen. Things happen. You can't control it. Save the number for Magic Restoration. You never know. Have it available.
That's right.
Whether it's 2:00 in the morning,
we'll be
2:00 in the afternoon, they can contact you.
And I'm the one
Give us the phone number,
you're going to
Mike.
get this smiling face no matter if it's 2 in the morning. You can call
With
me
or without
directly.
the mustache.
Give me my number. I'm giving you my cell. This is for you guys directly.
Say it.
It's 631-428-0674, and that's going to go directly to my number. So you're going to get me.
And they can text you.
You could text me too.
Call.
If you don't feel like talking at 2 in the morning, text me, and I'll answer it as soon as I get it. And I promise you, it'll be the easiest, smoothest going thing for you. If you don't know anything about insurance carriers, call me. I'll walk you through the whole process, whether it's covered or not. I promise you we'll take care of you from start to finish.
That is awesome. And that's very important to the homeowners. You don't want someone to come in, do the work, and they disappear.
Right.
Correct.
You don't know what's next.
Right.
There's a lot of aggravation that can transpire.
Even if you don't want to use us for the repairs, if you have a contractor, I can at least guide you as to getting payment from your carrier for that repair.
Wow. That's what a family business does.
That's what help the family.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you guys for having me.
You look terrific in purple.
Oh, I appreciate it.
He definitely does.
Barney the Dinosaur style, baby.
There you go. Now Craig's going to do his thing. Get ready.
All right.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for tuning in to B2B with Randy and Craig. Looking forward to hanging with you next week.